On top, from below, from behind. If you're wondering which position actually gives her the best chance of reaching orgasm, the answer might surprise you. I'm Julia Rhodes. I work with men over 60 across the US, helping them maintain satisfying, intimate lives. And today, we're talking about the science behind sexual positions and how they affect her ability to climax. Look, if you're in a long-term relationship and you tend to have sex the same way every time, you're not alone. But here's the thing. Over time, routine becomes predictable. And while there's nothing wrong with familiarity, studies show that novelty alone can increase arousal and orgasmic intensity for her. But beyond just mixing things up, there are specific positions that genuinely improve her chances of reaching orgasm. And I'm not talking about some complicated acrobatics, I'm talking about adjustments to the classic positions you probably already use. Now, before we get into the depth, I want to know. When you think about the last few times you had sex, was it pretty much the same position each time? Drop a comment and let me know, because if the answer is yes, this video is going to be valuable for you. Let's start with what the research actually says. The first major study on this was published back in 1978. Researchers surveyed married women who had been in relationships for at least 2 years, and they asked them which sexual positions they used, how often, and which ones led to orgasm most reliably. What they found was interesting. The positions women used most frequently were also the ones most associated with climax. At the top of the list was face-to-face with the man on top, then face-to-face with the woman on top, then lying on the side face-to-face. After that came prone rear entry, sitting face-to-face, kneeling rear entry, and finally sitting rear entry. But that was 1978. Times have changed. Relationships have evolved. So let's look at something more recent. A large-scale study was conducted in the Czech Republic with over 20,000 participants, about 11,000 men and 9,000 women. Most were in relationships, college-educated, and in their 30s. They had sex about 4 times a month on average. Participants were shown illustrations of 13 common sexual positions and asked to rate each one for pleasure. They also reported how often vaginal intercourse led to orgasm for the woman. And here's where it gets interesting. The most commonly used positions were still similar to the 1978 study: face-to-face with the man on top, face-to-face with the woman on top, and kneeling rear entry. But here's the part that should concern you. 1 in 3 women reported not experiencing orgasm through penetrative sex at all. That's significantly higher than what's usually reported in medical literature, which is around 12%. Why the gap? The most likely explanation is lack of adequate clitoral stimulation during intercourse. Many women require direct or indirect clitoral contact to reach orgasm, and most standard positions don't provide enough of it. Now, of the women who did reach orgasm during intercourse, about 25% said they achieved it 3 out of every 4 times. So, what made orgasm more likely for them? The study found that women who orgasmed more consistently were usually a little older, perhaps because they understood their own preferences better and communicated those needs more clearly. They also tended to have sex more often, but here's the key. They favored specific positions: face-to-face with the woman on top and sitting face-to-face. They used kneeling rear entry less frequently. Why does this matter? In positions like woman on top or sitting face-to-face, she controls the depth, angle, and rhythm. These positions allow for more consistent clitoral contact, both external and internal, leading to higher pleasure and more frequent orgasms. When she's on top, she can adjust the angle to hit her G-spot while also grinding against you for clitoral stimulation. She's in control of what feels good, and that control translates directly to better outcomes. Sitting face-to-face has similar benefits. She can control movement, maintain clitoral contact, and the intimacy of the position. Being able to see each other, kiss, touch, adds an emotional layer that enhances the physical pleasure. Now, there are deeper techniques about angle, rhythm, and communication during these positions that I can't fully break down on platforms like this. If you want that level of detail, completely raw and unfiltered, I share it all in my newsletter. The link is pinned in the comments and in the description. What I'm able to teach there goes way beyond what's allowed here. So if you're not exploring these positions often, start. And if things have become predictable in your relationship, experiment. Try something new. Even a small change in position or setting can rekindle excitement and increase satisfaction for both of you. Now, let's talk about the positions that didn't perform as well. Kneeling rear entry, what most people call doggy style, was used less frequently by women who orgasmed consistently. Why? Because in that position, there's minimal clitoral stimulation unless you or she manually provides it. That doesn't mean you should never use it. It just means if that's your go-to position and she's not reaching orgasm, now you know why. The same goes for the traditional missionary if you're just going through the motions. Unless you're deliberately positioning yourself to provide clitoral contact through grinding, angle adjustment, or using your hand, it's probably not going to get her there. Here's the bottom line. Her orgasm isn't a mystery. It's anatomy combined with technique. The clitoris is the key to her pleasure, and positions that allow for consistent clitoral contact are the ones that lead to orgasm most reliably. Positions where she controls the movement give her the ability to find exactly what works for her body. So prioritize woman on top and sitting face to face. Let her control the rhythm and angle. Pay attention to what makes her respond. And communicate. Ask her what feels good. Listen to her body and her words. And remember, there's no single right way to have sex. What matters is exploration, communication, and mutual enjoyment. Real quick, if this is giving you insights that genuinely help your intimate life, hit that subscribe button. You're getting this for free, and subscribing costs you nothing but helps us keep creating content like this. Just hit it and turn on notifications. So here's your action plan. Tonight, or the next time you're intimate, try woman on top or sitting face to face, let her control the pace. Pay attention to her response. And most importantly, talk to her about what feels good. Your goal isn't just penetration. Your goal is her pleasure. And when you prioritize that, everything else follows. Now, tell me, what's been your experience with different positions? Have you noticed what works best for her? Drop a comment and let me know. And if this helped, hit that like button. I'm Julia Rhodes, and I'll see you in the next one.